Hello, you guys, Culture Critic here, and today I am going to be talking about Knuckles' good character. And first, I am going to start with the games, and then I'm going to start talking about the movies. So, first, let's get to the game where he debuted. Now, I don't know if this game is canon, because Knuckles went Super Knuckles in that game, and it is now confirmed that only male hedgehogs, yes, only male hedgehogs, get to go Super. Well, we'll get to that later. But right now, in this debut, he appears out of nowhere in front of Sonic. And he, stops Sonic and takes the emeralds just like that. And this was in Sonic's base form. No character has ever done that. Nobody, except for Knuckles so far. Can you imagine that? How is that possible? So, throughout that appearance, he does the things that Eggman is telling him what to do. He lies to him by saying that Sonic is the one who's taking the Master Emerald. And it turns out that Eggman was tricking him all along because he took the Master Emerald for himself. And which I felt bad for Knuckles because he was naive. He was on Angel Island protecting the Master Emerald, and he thought that Eggman telling him to that Sonic is gonna come after the Master Emerald was gonna make him be on Eggman's side. He thought that this was the right thing to do because of him having his duty to protect the Master Emerald, and he was alone. He didn't really do anything in his life, and lost his family at a very early life, and like when he was a child. And from that owl race, I forgot that he lost his family from the owl race, and I believe they're possibly dead. His father's probably dead. They're probably all killed. And you see, you cannot blame him for being tricked by Eggman. He's not stupid in that, okay? So after Eggman takes the emerald, the big green Master Emerald, um, Knuckles does not whine, complain. He's not like, hey, to my Master Emerald, argh! He's not like that. He steps up and tries to help Sonic and Tails try to find the Master Emerald back. And they did. And even though Knuckles became rivals with Sonic, he ended up becoming friends with him. And think about it, this was in the 90s. This is the 90s we're talking about. Like, early mid 90s. And they did no dialogue. They did no dialogue. They did no talking. They actually just showed them doing all these things, like just doing things without saying anything. And the reason why I'm saying that because that makes Knuckles show he's brave, he's courageous, he doesn't give up, protecting the Master Emerald without speaking. You can see him do all that without him speaking. But anyways, about that super form, apparently I don't think this game is canon anymore, or maybe at least most of the game except for we should just exclude the super Knuckles. Because you know what I said before, that only the male hedgehogs can have super forms. And that's just a disappointment. And so that's why I say that that's no longer canon, just for that part of the game. So anyways, let's get to the two adventure games. So then we have Sonic Adventure 1. So it's the same thing as the debut appearance of Knuckles. And I think they did this because of the last game with Knuckles having that non-canon form, and I'm thinking that it probably ruined that game, so I'm thinking that's why they did it again, but without the form. But even though they fixed this without the super form, it seems a little out of character like the original game, like the first game he was in. Because some people say that the Sonic 3 is canon, and for some reason, even though if it is canon, then why is Knuckles having that being tricked by Eggman in Sonic Adventure 1? But if it is canon, then we're gonna have to say this, that why does Knuckles feel like he's tricked again after he was tricked by Eggman before? And I'll get to that later, okay? But right now, in the Sonic Adventure 1 game, he doesn't know what happened, he doesn't know his past, he doesn't know, like, he doesn't know why he's an echidna, why he was born. He hasn't seen anything like that because he was a kid when this happened. And I feel bad for him for that. So he had no choice, and he thought that he was destined to guard the giant emerald that's behind him, where he's sitting on the steps while that is behind him. And then Chaos showed up and shattered the emerald. And then all the pieces just flew out to other places. But Knuckles didn't stop there. He thought it was a hard task, but he did what he had to do, and that was finding the shards, the emerald, the Master Emerald shards, and try to bring them back, piece together, bring back those pieces and try to fix them back together on the bottom piece of the Master Emerald that was left on Angel Island. And that way, like, he doesn't know why, but he thought that fixing them back to normal would be for whatever good reason. So when he went and find the shattered missing shards of the emerald, he was stopped by Eggman, who had told him, like, Sonic's gonna take it, but then he got tricked, and, became rivals with Sonic once again, and then prior to this, he had this, like, I think the reason why, like, prior to this fight with Knuckles and Sonic again, I think what happened was that he was naive again because of, like, still naive, because there was nothing in his life, like I said. And when you think of him listening to Eggman about this, Sonic, he decided to go after Sonic because of that lie from Eggman, and he fights with him. But then the Master Emerald gets taken, then he takes the shards away, he takes it away, and he tells Sonic to give it back, like, tells Sonic to, like, let's go, we gotta find it. He doesn't give up there, he doesn't stop, he goes and finds him, and defeats him, and finds, like, all the shards, and then he's fixed. But then, when you look at a flashback of an echidna, which I forgot her name, he had nothing else going on when he saw her like a kid, and after accomplishing his mission, he just sits there alone, and he's like, I guess I'll just sit here alone, and I guess I'll never know what happened in my past. I may not know about it, but I want to move forward and not be traumatized by it. Something like that, he said. And I like that there, because if he knew the whole truth about what happened, I think he would have been traumatized forever. I think he would have never gotten over it. So now, let's go to Sonic Adventure 2. So, in this game, Knuckles is not a lot naive this time. This time he's chill and relaxed. And we are gonna introduce Rouge the Bat in this. So, when Rouge the Bat is trying to take the Master Emerald, because she's trying to take it for her collection, because she is a jewel thief. She loves jewels. She loves to keep them. And she thought of keeping this big, giant Master Emerald at her home. But Knuckles stops her, and they argue, like, no, give it back. That Master Emerald must be protected. It is not for it's not for keeping, something like that he was saying. And she's like, no, the jewel is all mine. And while they're doing that, we have Eggman taking the Master Emerald. But then I think the writers did a dumb decision. But I think it might be a reason. And that's when Knuckles saves the Master Emerald by shattering it into shards. Well, there you go, Knuckles. Now you're gonna have Rouge take those shards away, which she did later. So, he does get separate from his two friends, Sonic and Tails. Like, it's the same thing like in the first adventure game, where he's separated a lot. But he does reach back to his friends, and he doesn't resist it. He is actually fine with it. He doesn't argue. He's actually chill. There's even songs that actually, if you take a look and listen at the songs, you can actually listen to lyrics about Knuckles, about his past. He's not gonna give up. He's gonna protect the Master Emerald. He's gonna fight. He's gonna, like, all that. Describing his chill and coolness. But he isn't always like that. Because when Knuckles and Sonic were in the shuttle, the shards had went out. It was broken. The space shuttle was falling apart. The shards, like I said, they fell out. And Knuckles like, no, give me that thing. Give me that steering wheel. We must get it. Give me that. We must get those shards back. And then they crashed into wherever that I forgot. But they crashed, and then Sonic, he barely escapes death after being shot out in that capsule. But then Knuckles tries to see if he's alright, if he's okay. And this is a good relationship. I like what Knuckles is doing right here. This is where Knuckles is coming out of his naive shell and actually learning more things. He's getting to be more calm, not aggressive, and especially with Rouge. The more they argued, the more they ended up being friends. Like, one time, around, like, late in the Sonic Adventure 2 game, Knuckles like, give those shards back. And she doesn't, and she's not gonna give them back. But then she falls, even though Rouge can obviously fly. And this is, like, literally every time, but we'll get to Rouge about that in another time, okay. But she falls, and luckily, Knuckles catches her before she falls into that lava. And then she is like, Knuckles, you saved me. You know what I'm gonna do? Here, you earn it, okay? Take those shards, okay? I don't need them anymore. They stink. And she's funny, you know. But you get to see when he picks her up, you can see, like, they're looking at each other like they're in love. You can see their relationship that's started to be born. And you can see that you can see the smirk on her face crack a smile when she walks away. And, well, Knuckles has the shards, and he runs, and she runs away. Like, you get what I'm saying. And then we get to see them again, like, around the end of the game, like, after, like, we get to see them, like, try to stop Eggman and that lizard. I forgot what Shadow's brother's name is. But after all that defeat and Shadow's supposed death, we get to see Knuckles and Rouge actually, interacting with each other more by... He was asking her, so what's next for you? Try to steal more jewels? Or something like that, like he's saying, like, or try to find more jewels, try to find something in her collection, like... And then, Rouge is like, I may be, but you know what? I might stop doing that, and because I think I have something better to do. And I wonder what she meant by that. I think she meant what you guys were thinking between Rouge and Knuckles. But you can see that Knuckles is getting better. You can still see some of that rivalry though. But even though that rivalry is mostly over because of that one character, Shadow. And Shadow apparently became rivals with Sonic, which ended the rivalry with him and Knuckles, much like that anime, Sonic X. And not just Shadow, but for other reasons. And I don't know if this is sad or not, because I think that this is what Knuckles' character is more than than the Master Emerald protecting, but at least he still has the at least we still have not only the Master Emerald because he just saves he saves the shards because he is the true Master Emerald, but also we still have the relationship with him and Rouge, even though it had declined, but we could still have it back one day, even in the movie, like in the fourth movie of Sonic the Hedgehog. So, now that we got probably the most popular game of Knuckles out of the way, let's get to the other games. And yeah, so I'm pretty sure that they're more popular. I don't know. This is just my opinion about Sonic Adventure 2. Actually, guys, I just realized that there are no more games for me to review about that has his good character. I pretty much had reviewed all the games. Now let's get to go and discuss the movies. So, about movie 2, Knuckles, I think, has the best portrayal of Knuckles, of the entire community of Knuckles. And the thing is about Knuckles is that he does have a similar backstory, but they made it a little bit inaccurate, but made it a good inaccuracy of the original Knuckles, the canon Knuckles. So in a flashback of the movie, we see Knuckles like being with the Echidna tribe, and I think he looks old enough to remember, and his father had left him, and his tribe had left him, and they went out to fight the I still don't remember the owl race, but it they wanted to use the Master Emeralds for power and for power on Angel Island, but the owls believe that having power is wrong because that is dangerous. So they decided to take the emeralds from them, and it starts a war. And the Echidna tribe and the I think Lockjaw, I don't know, whatever the owl race that race is gone too. Both the races are gone. And you could see that Sonic and Knuckles had the same backstory where their families just die, they leave them behind, and they are left alone. But you see, the one thing that's different is that this Sonic immediately goes to Earth and learns things with humans, while Knuckles takes a long time to understand that because of his naivety, because he is alone and he doesn't have any friends, but he thought that he is made to defend the Master Emerald. And when we get to see this movie, Eggman, where he gets to come and tells Knuckle about a lie that, come on, let's be friends. And he's doing that because he wants him to kill Sonic. But then, when he saw the Master Emerald, he had an idea to trick Knuckles by making him think that Sonic is going after the Master Emerald, just so that Eggman could take it from himself. Just so he could take it for himself. And that's when Knuckles is like, "You're my friend. I thought you were my friend. I trusted you," like something like that. And but then Eggman doesn't care. And then that's when you see that he's not dumb. He's naive because of how he was raised, because of how he was alone and with nobody, and he had nothing to learn about. So uh, but what he wanted to be with Eggman because he thought that it's not because of his naivety, but he thought that he was destined to to save the Master Emerald. He thought that it was his duty to to gain power for the Angel Island. He thought that this was the right thing to do. And then he tries to kill Sonic, but then he gets stopped by Tails, and he tries to go after Tails and Sonic, but they get away. They then meet up with Sonic again by like in Russia. I have no idea, but they will. I think in Russia. I never seen the second movie, but I've only seen the third movie. But I get to know what's going on here with when they were at the snow. They were he was fighting. He started fighting and telling him that give me back the Master Emerald. Like I, or or no, he's like he told him he's been trained his whole life. Well, Sonic just gloated at him, just lacked empathy by saying that here I am ahead of you, even though I am not having any experience, and and that just like pisses Knuckle off. And so he constantly attacks him, and he tells him about his backstory, how he's raised and all that. But then he gets tricked by Tails before Sonic gets to give him advice to be friends. So he thought that this makes them more enemies to Knuckle. And when Knuckles had went to the pyramid, whatever where the Master Emerald was, Eggman tries to take it, and that's where he tricks Knuckles. And so that's where they were fighting him and him and Sonic were fighting, and then that's when and then after when Eggman takes the emerald away, the whole place just gets destroyed, and he gets drowned, and Sonic saves him. But even after Knuckles gets saved by Sonic, he wanted to know why he was saved. And he's like, "You let the Master Emerald get away. I will not, I'm not gonna let Eggman get away with this." And then while that was going on, you get to see that he thinks that Sonic was using this reason, like using the answer of his question as a tactic, like an advantage tactic. He still wants to fight with Sonic. Well, as of the second movie. But despite all this, he teams up with Sonic and Tails and becomes friends with him. And he stops Eggman and rescues the Master Emerald. And unlike Heroes, he gets to protect the Master Emerald, like, wherever they go, instead of taking it to Angel Island. And that's what I was telling you about in the last video about Knuckles, about his bad character. So, what I like about is that, he, when he looks at jokes, he's not stupid. When he's joking, he's not stupid. He's just naive. And even when he doesn't understand the text of Sonic, he puts dot dot dot. And there even one time he doesn't understand the baseball. He's like, "Why do I have to run?" What? And then instead of just using the baseball bat, he just takes the baseball and just throws it and makes a fire hole. And which I forgot what the board is, at the board of points, but that's where he punches a hole. And but you get to see Knuckles, like, this is the Knuckles that you really expected. After all these bad games happening, you get to see that he is confident, he's strong, he's brave, he doesn't fall for anything, he takes things way too seriously, and you see his naivety, because the way he was raised, and you get to see that he's not going to give up over someone tricking him. He's going to accomplish it, especially the Master Emerald. He's going to accomplish it no matter what. And unfortunately, we barely got any of his character there, because the next movie is going to focus on mostly about Shadow and Sonic. Well, mostly Shadow. But, and again, this is just like the same thing where he gets replaced by Shadow, but hopefully not again in Sonic 4. But let's go to Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Okay, so in this movie, we have Sonic racing with Knuckles and Tails. But turns out during the race, it was just a hologram of Knuckles and Tails, and they were showing Sonic. They were actually doing this to surprise Sonic on this Earth Day, because he had been on Earth for 1 year. It's a 1 year anniversary of him being on Earth, and it's and I liked it what they did there. Yes. But then after they hang out, after they did all the celebration and all that, it didn't last long because Gun showed up and they said that and they need their help because Shadow escaped from prison at Japan, or not Japan but somewhere else, and he went to Japan in Tokyo, and so Gun took them, and Tails had used a helicopter to drive them, to fly them there, and I liked it that what they did for Tails. I think it makes sense for Tails because he's into flying, so it would make sense for him to drive a helicopter. So the three had jumped out of the helicopter and they found Shadow. And just want to tell you that speaking of Shadow, we don't know why it's called the Sonic Team, because I don't I don't know if it makes sense like why it's called the Sonic Team. I guess because of Sonic, but it's also about Knuckles and Tails. Like, it's not just about Sonic. And also about Team Rose. Like, it's about just Amy, not about Big the Cat or Cream. But Team Chaotix and Team Dark would be accurate to use. But getting back to what I'm talking about, when they meet Shadow for the first time, they see him like they argue like why do you look like me, like between Shadow and Sonic. And then Knuckles actually, and due to his naivety, he actually comes up and tries to fight Shadow, but literally actually gets dunked down by him. And he even makes a joke by saying, "He's more impressive than the hedgehog I fought previously." That's so funny. But they get dunked down by Shadow, and then they get to hang out in a restaurant, and I don't know if this is a good joke because he's supposed to be naive and with these jokes, and he doesn't understand that. But he ends up calling Tails a Pokemon, and I think that's like a weak joke, and I don't think it's necessary to use that. So they end up getting attacked by these drones, and they try to chase after Shadow. But I'm sorry this is out of order. I forgot that this is out of order. But anyway, they chase after Shadow, but they get lost. So Sonic wants to know, why is he born? What was his past? What's going on? And I liked what they did there. So instead of listening to Gun, since they were attacking and they were a threat to Shadow, they decided to get help from Professor Stone, I think, and from Eggman. And they found one of the key cards, and they want to find the other one. So what they were doing is Eggman, Professor Stone, and Team Sonic, they all split up to... Oh, yeah. And they also, in that place at the old facility where Shadow was created, they met Dr. Gerald Robotnik, and, but then there was all a trick. Because we get to see Shadow scaring Knuckles, and we don't get to see the fight of that. And I liked what they did there, because in Sonic Adventure 2, he actually is, in Sonic Adventure 2, I think, Pumpkin Hill, he was scared by King Boo Boo, the ghost. He was afraid of ghosts, and he had his fear of Casper the Ghost. He's like, I am not afraid. Casper the Friendly Ghost isn't real. But you get what I'm saying there. So anyways, he gets tied up with his friends by Shadow, Robotnik, of Eggman, Stone, and they were about to die, but they actually escaped, and they need help from Maddie and Tony. So their plan was they would get to go to London and find the other key card, which, so the plan was, they wanted to, like, be separated, and Tommy and Maddie disguised themselves as their friends, which I forgot their names. They disguised themselves to go to where they can find the key card, but it wasn't easy. So Knuckles had to go out and help them because they were stuck in this gravity where the key card was. But after that, like, they got the key card, but then Knuckles. Well, no, I think Shadow got the key card. But then the key card had been. Oh yeah, they also took the other key card with them from them. I think. And they were doing this because Shadow wanted to revenge. So then Knuckles realized that Tony was very injured, seriously. Not really seriously injured, but he's injured, and Sonic wants to avenge this. So he's asking Knuckles, where's the Master Emerald? And he says, I am not showing you where the Master Emerald is. The Master Emerald it must be hidden because it must not be disturbed because because we don't want it to be bothered. We don't want it to be destroyed. We must maintain its power, unless something bad happens. But then Sonic didn't listen. Which, instead of taking Knuckles' advice, he takes the advice from Tony and Maddie by going super and taking the Master Emerald to stop Shadow, Robotnik, the two Robotniks, and Stone. So, he did that. But before that, he actually argues with Knuckles, and they were actually starting to attack each other because Knuckles is refusing to give Sonic the Master Emerald. But then he ends up, then Tails, like, tries to stop, like, and Knuckles is like, you better listen to the fox, but Sonic didn't listen, and then Knuckles decided to be calm and tells him where the Master Emerald is, and Wade has it from the Knuckles series. And he snatches it from him. Sonic snatches it from him and stops and tried to save the world, and even Shadow saves the world as well, because he realizes that this was Maria's advice for him. I mean, what Maria wanted him to do, that promise. So, while Sonic was going frozen, like, getting weak, after trying to stop the thing I forgot that was going to destroy the Earth, Knuckles, Tails goes after, but then he gets weakened by the frozen of the space. But then Knuckles gets to save them and creates a ring to go through the portal, and then they land it in the corn. And then Sonic looks up and sees that the thing that was going to destroy Earth is blown up because Eggman sacrificed himself. And then Sonic apologizes for leaving them and not doing the teamwork thing. And then Sonic and Knuckles actually was just mad at him, and he forgave him. And I just hate that. Okay, I hate it that he had to apologize because Knuckles was upset. Sonic did the right thing. Okay, because this is what Tommy and Maddie wanted him to do. Because this is the one thing that could save the world. And I just hate apologies because it just makes you weak. Okay, it makes you weak, and then they're forgiving you, and then I just hate that. And it's like that you need to apologize whenever they're upset at you. Man, fuck that, okay? I fucking hate that. But anyways, that is the good character of Knuckles, and apparently it's not. There wasn't that much about him because it is disappointing because when you think of Knuckles in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, you would think that he was going to have a good character arc because you think that he was going to come out of his naive shell and try to learn more things, but we barely get to see that. We barely get to see any of that, and instead we get to see him learn about that from a worse series of this whole franchise, of this universe franchise. And the reason I'm sorry for not doing this Knuckles TV series. It's because it is bad. The show is bad, so that's why I'm not going to do that. And also, it's very long to review that. Okay, so that's why I couldn't. And also, it has this bad character anyway. Well, yeah. Well, I already explained it, it's but it's not too late because we have more movies of Sonic coming, and and maybe some TV series about the other Sonic characters besides Knuckles. And even if we get another season of Knuckles, it better be good plots. But stay tuned for Shadow, and then I'll get to other characters, and bye!